something small about like what's happening in Sudan, because at this point I don't even know what's happening, because like what I saw, like even on CNN, they were saying like there's some things that are fabricated with AI, but we've seen like some videos of like how like, you know, I don't know if it's rebels or what's the situation exactly
the situation
if
in
you know
Sudan
if you know
is-
anything about it. I don't.
It's very long. In fact,
Yeah,
the
we
moment
can save for an
the
episode
moment-
on its own.
Truly. In fact, if
Okay.
you pop the question,
Yeah.
I would love to talk about it even for like 10 minutes. But the situation in Sudan
Yeah.
is very complex. But one thing that I don't love is that people are just talking about Sudan from the point of the UAE proxy,
Okay.
but they do not really want to talk about the extermination of black people in Sudan since time immemorial after independence.
Extermination, how?
Of black people. Do you know that there is a big division in Sudan between Arabs and blacks? But let me give you an important thing. Sudan actually belongs to black people.
Okay.
The Arabs in Sudan are not natives to Sudan.
Mm.
So what happened in the 7th century, there was the Ottoman influence in Northern Africa, whereby most people were converted into Muslim, and also Arabs came in as traders to Sudan. So at that time, Sudan is black. Do you see the Dinka of South Sudan?
Yeah, because I've been to South Sudan,
The
so I
entire-
think that's where I was.
Yes,
then.
so the entire population of Sudan is black.
Yeah.
But now when the Arab traders came in, of course, Africans were very hospitable. They welcomed them, they trade and everything, just like it happened in our coast in where? In Mombasa,
Yeah.
the same way. So they came in. But now the division comes in so far when the British came in. So the
Okay.
British in 1899, they colonized Sudan, something that was not Egypt, Sudan. So the British favors the Arabs more than the majority of the population of black people.
Mm.
So the Arabs now are being given investment, they're being given government positions, and the black people are sidelined. So in fact, after 1956, when the British people now left and they were leaving independence for the people of Sudan, they installed a prime minister who was called Ismail, who was Arab, not a black person. And after that, Ismail imposes Arabic as the national language, despite the fact that Sudan has over 100 different native languages, such as the Dinka, the Darfur, all these languages. And then he appoints Arab administrators and neglect black people. So that is where now the stifle now begins. The black people now start resisting what has been going on in that country. So after that, of course, there's a coup that happens, and the General Mohammed, but there's a general who takes over Sudan. So after he takes over, he now decides to become very radical with Islam. And now he starts something that we call Arabization and Islamicization, whereby he forces people to act in the Arab culture and to convert to Islam. And any person who was against the government of Sudan, they were now being killed. Literally being killed.
So no choice. There's no choice for you to do what you want.
Yes, there were over 1 million people who were being killed. In fact, the first civil war now began in 1983 to 1972, where now the black people now started resisting. But at that time, they had not formed rebel groups to fight the Arabs who were there.
Okay.
They still did not have the capacity. So after 1983 to 1972, there is a peace agreement. It was called the Addis Ababa Peace Agreement. So that Addis Ababa Peace Agreement is what now brings a certain condition, whereby the government says we'll have peace between the North and the South, but we're going to create a secular state. Do you know what a secular state is? I talked about it once. A secular state is whereby they allow secular laws that cover all religions, whereby we do not have Christian law, we do not have Sharia law being the dominant law, or we do not have this law. So the president promises, the northern people, the Arabs, president promises that we'll have a secular system.
Yeah.
So the peace is there for some time. So Jafar was elected now as the president of the entire Sudan. But the problem after that, Jafar walks back on his promise. He declares Sudan an Islamic state, and now still forces black people again to convert to Islam. That is where now things get heated. That is now where we get the second civil war that lasts for almost 20 years. So that is what Now we got the greatest leader for South Sudanese, John Garang. If you've ever heard of it.
Yeah.
So John Garang forms a little army. It was called the Sudan People's Liberation Army, SPLA.
Yeah.
And this army wins over the Arabs so many times.
So this is South Sudan.
Exact South Sudan.
Okay.
In fact, people just say South Sudan, but the people in South Sudan were still the ones who occupied the North
because
Sudan.
when I was there, I was just asking, and like at times, like, when you're coming from a place where you don't know these things, if you just say you're from Sudan, no, they'll correct you. It's like, oh, is it Sudan, no? Or Southern Sudan?
But
like,
they literally used to occupy almost the entire Sudan. They were just
okay.
pushed down because of the war between the north part and the south part. And the north borders Egypt, so there are so many Arabs.
And I guess that's why you find like more light skin, like Sudanese people.
Exactly.
Like,
in fact,
in the north.
if you see the leaders right now that for RSF, they look Arab in a certain way.
Oh,
they don't look like
now.
Dinka, the black people.
Okay, makes
so
sense.
they are pushed there, but they fight, and he strikes major wins. In fact, after striking major wins, that is where now the secession happens.
Yeah.
Where after that, there is international cooperation, and South Sudan is given a promise to now vote for a referendum to have their own country. And in 2011, they vote overwhelmingly, and now they head the new country of Sudan. But now let me tell you why the reason why also the war goes on. There is also a section in South Sudan, not in Sudan, that wants to break away, just like South Sudan.
Okay.
That section is called West Darfur.
So that's on the northern side.
On the north side. In fact, Sudan is divided into three critical areas. We have the North Sudan. North Sudan is Arabs, predominantly Muslim.
Yeah.
The South Sudan is the black people, predominantly Christians. The west part of Sudan is black people, just like South Sudan. They're black, but they are Muslim because they were forced to convert to Islam because they are closer to the people in the north. So these people of West Darfur want again to break away, just like the people of South Sudan.
Okay.
So what happens? The government puts RSF at that region because the moment West Darfur...
RSF are the guys that we're seeing now, like
yes,
online.
That is a militia that was there. So that militia was first set up by a president called Omar al-Bashir. So Omar al-Bashir, after hearing South Sudan gains the autonomy, he hears that West Darfur also wants to break away from Sudan. So he sets up a militia to do the dirty job for him. That militia was called the Janjaweed militia. Now it was rebranded into RSF. So the Janjaweed militia kills the black people in West Darfur. The reason why they have to do that is because, while South Sudan was seceding, it took away 75% of the oil reserves.
Oh.
That belonged to Sudan as a country.
Okay.
So if West Darfur secedes, they will take about 90% of the gold reserves.
90.
So the northern part, that us Arabs would literally be left with just the port as the critical resource for that country.